Hi, this is Kareem Ardalan with AidBC, and today I'm going to show you how to migrate a website from Business Catalyst to Weebly Cloud in 15 minutes. It's going to be a small site. It's about a 7-page site, but it's a pretty typical site for us, I would say. And it's a site that has content holders and simple web apps. So just a quick intro. We've been a BC partner for 10 years, and obviously the pace of BC development it really forced us to consider other platforms about 18 months ago. And so we started researching other platforms and decided on DIY platforms, which I'll get to. But the ones that we researched were Wix, Squarespace, and Weebly, which are basically the top three DIY builders. But out of those, really only Weebly offered a designer platform, which is what we needed because we wanted to be able to manage all our client sites in one place and not looking at doing individual one-off sites. So we decided to embrace the change. Instead of fighting the DIY platforms and telling people, you shouldn't go there, we decided, well, people are going there anyway, and these tools are great. They've advanced a lot, and they have a lot of power. So why not use that power to build sites for clients? Because the average client can't sit in front of a computer and make their own site. Some people can, but not many. And so we decided to use Weebly Cloud, which is their designer platform. And we built over 20 sites in the last 12 months. We've been very happy building sites on Weebly Cloud. Of course, it's not for every type of site, but since we've learned the platform now, we know what sites it's good for and what sites it's not. So we don't even go after or try to build a site that it wouldn't be a good fit on, and we build those on other platforms. But overall, it's been a win-win. Clients are happy because their sites are done more quickly, and they have a great editing interface to be able to go in and make changes to their site, and we can build sites more quickly and efficiently, and it's a hosted platform. We get a discount on hosting. We can resell that to our clients. It's white labeled, lots of benefits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to migrate a BC site that we built several years ago. It's a 7-page site, has content holders and web apps. The site wasn't responsive, but that really doesn't make any difference because what I'm going to do is move the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript from the current BC site to Weebly Cloud. And so we're going to go in and set it up also so that the client can easily make edits to their site. And in this case, the client really hasn't done any updates to their site. I think the only thing they did was add a QR code to their site, which we explained they didn't need, but they wanted anyway. This will certainly make it easier if they decide that they want to go in and make changes. I think BC was just too complex for them. So now they might actually make some updates. So these are the steps I'm going to go through in detail, although I'm going to try to do it in 15 minutes, so we'll see how we do. I'm going to download the files from the current BC site. I'm going to edit the files locally to make some changes that are necessary to file paths and things like that. Then I'm going to zip up those files, which basically creates a custom Weebly theme. I'm going to make a new site on the Weebly Cloud admin. And I'm going to create the pages for this site, put in the content, publish and preview, and see how we did. Here are some links that you might want to follow along with. The first is the Weebly theme documentation, so you can see where that is, and that gives you a lot of good information about how to build a Weebly theme and the different tags that are available and so forth. There's also a special offer that Weebly Cloud has put together for BC partners with very steep discounts, so take a look at that as well if you're interested. You can sign up for free and move up to their various plans that they have and learn about those on this link. I've also put together a spreadsheet of BC versus Weebly Cloud features, which you can take a look at as well. It's a Google Sheets, and you can see what features are available on each platform and how they compare. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, or if you need help migrating or just want to consult, I do offer a free consultation. So you can visit aidbc.com and schedule a 15-minute free consultation just so that we can see what sites you have and what platform might be best for you. Okay, so on that note, let's get started. So this is the site that we're going to work on migrating. It's Mountain View Eye Care, and it's a standard BC site, has navigation, some content, and uses web apps and content holders. So let's get going. So the first thing we're going to do is download a copy of the site files that we need. So we need templates, we're going to need fonts, images, JavaScript, we need the Nivo slider. So let's download those to my local drive. And we're also going to need the two style sheets that they are using. So I'll download those two. What I'm going to do is by default, Weebly looks for a file called mainstyle.css. So I'm just going to rename that one mainstyle.css. I'm also going to look at their templates. The only templates that I know they're actually using are these three. So I'm going to move those into the root, and I don't need the templates folder. And the homepage template I'm going to rename to index.html. That tells Weebly that that's the default theme. So I'm going to open these three files. And what I'm going to do is a series of find and replace. So what I'm going to do is go to the open files. First off, I'm going to make this an HTML5 document. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to find those and replace them with this. And it found it there. Let's also do it here. Okay. Then I'm going to go through, and I don't need the all.css, so I'm going to remove that from all the templates. I'm going to rename this. The path actually is going to be files/theme for that style sheet that I'm using. I happen to know that they're not actually using these other Nivo slider themes, so I'm going to remove those. And I'm going to put the same files theme path here for the Nivo slider. And I'm just going to go down the page and put in the titles, or replace the tags, I should say, replace the BC tags with Weebly Cloud tags. So first one I'm going to do is Mountain View Eye Care is the name of the site. So what I'm going to do is use my clips feature, and I'm going to just replace that with title. And I know this should be index.html. So I'm going to do a find and replace. I'm going to replace menu with menu. That's the tag name in Weebly Cloud. By the way, Weebly Cloud templates or themes are basically just mustache templates. So if you're familiar with the mustache templating system, this will be easy for you to work with. Okay, here we have our first web app, and they're basically using it for their slideshow, which I'll show you again here. So I'm going to go back to my clips, and I know what they're using there are just a series of images. So there's a series of 6 images that they've included, so that they're using the web app for. So I'm just going to put those images in. We can always replace this with a Weebly element if we decided to do that. Again, this client never really updated their site, so I don't see them changing it, but for now this is what we're going to do. Then we get to some text. So welcome to Mountain View Eye Care, and then they have this text here. So I'm going to copy this text, and that's what goes in this content holder here. I don't need the read more part. Then I'm going to go down the page. Now when I see images, I need to change the path. So I'm going to find images and I'm going to replace them with /files/theme, and I'm going to find and replace all. So there's only 3 of them. All right, I'm going to go down and we get to our content. The actual tag name is content, so that's easy. If we go back to clips, and then here's my sidebar. So what I have here is the sidebar here, and it's a content holder. So I'm going to go to my remote site, content holders, and it's actually called contact box. So I'm going to open that. I'm going to select it and paste that in. So what I can do is just find any instance of that and replace it with this text. So I'm going to do a replace all. And then down here we have social, so I'm going to replace that with the equivalent tag, which is just called social. See that there. And then this is menu again. And this, so down here they have their footer text, which they're basically just using for the copyright text. And we want to be able to edit that, so I'm going to make that into a custom tag. So custom tags, you just make up your own name. So I'm just going to call it footer text, and then you choose a type. So type text. You can also do image, button, and content. Content allows you to drag and drop elements into the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually replace with that, and I'm going to find all instance of this and replace it with that. So let's go to find in. I'm going to do a find and then replace all. Now if your text editor doesn't do find and replace the same way, you can just go into each one and do it manually as well. I'm doing this because Coda allows it and it saves time. So that was my index page. Let me fix my contact template as well. So I'm going to copy that and put that in here. Okay, and let's go down and see. Okay, I should replace this as well. So I'm going to find this and I'm going to replace it with just menu. I'm going to do find, replace all. Okay, now I'm on the contact template. So if we go to the contact page, it's basically just a header image. In fact, all the inside pages just have a header image there. And so what I'm going to do is change that into a Weebly tag that allows them to put in a header image. So I'm going to take that out and I'm just going to put in the Weebly tags for a header area. So this tells the template that this is the header area and that's the content where you can drag content in or set a background image. So as we go down, we have module page name. So there's no equivalent for module page name in Weebly, but what we can do instead is use the headline tag. And what you can do with the headline tag, or actually with any tag, is choose whether you want it to be global or not. So global would be like content holders. When you insert a content holder, it's the same content holder that gets inserted on all pages throughout the site. And if you just change it in one place, it changes all of them. So that's where you would want global. In this case, I don't want it to be global because I want a different page name for each page. So I'm going to say not to be global. So global equals false. And then we have our BC form, which fortunately we don't need anymore. So I'm going to go down to the end of the form and delete that. And instead, we're going to put in our content. So I'm just going to type in the content tag. And this will allow us to just drag and drop a Weebly form onto the page or multiple forms and do it that way. Then we get to our sidebar and we have a map and some contact information. So I think this would be a good case for replacing all of this with a sidebar tag. And again, I can make it global or not. I don't want it to be global, so I'm going to set it to false. This tells Weebly this is the sidebar element, and I can drag and drop content into the sidebar there as well. Okay, so then we go back to social. So let me just do another find and replace on this. So I'm going to find all the instances of that content holder, and I'm going to replace it with social. So I'm going to find, replace all, and then I'm going to find, let's do the same thing with the menu again. So we'll find this menu and replace it with menu, find, replace all, and we have our footer text. All right, so that looks good. Now let's look at our main template. Okay, I don't need all.css. Let me see if I removed it from the contact. No, I didn't. The reason we don't need all.css is because we renamed our CSS to main_style.css, and that's what Weebly looks for by default. Okay, here's a JavaScript file, so I want to make sure it has the right path. So it's again files/theme, and same for this IE style sheet. And I'll do it here too. Looks like I forgot it there. I'm not sure if this is relevant anymore, but it's there. I'm going to use it. Okay, and then here is again where they had a header image. So we're going to go back and we're going to use our header area. Then we have our phone number. Okay, and then here's where we had module page name. I'm going to make it headline, and I'm going to make it not global. And then here's our content. Now here we come across another, this is the inside template. So if we look at one of the inside pages, what they have is a did you know section. So what I'm going to do is replace that with a sidebar element. And again, I don't want it to be global. So by not making global, I'm basically making it into what a web app was. One of the reasons we used web apps was so that for each page we could set different content areas that the client could edit by editing the web app, for instance. If we put it into content holder, it would be the same on every page, and we don't want that. So here we would want to have a different did you know on every page, and this will allow us to do that. And then we have social, menu, and footer text. Okay, so I think we have all of our templates set up. So let's see. So far we've been about 12 minutes in. So let's get ready to upload this. One more thing before we upload is if I go to my images folder, I want to take all the images that are there and move them into the root of the images folder, not into a subfolder. I also have a folder of header images. I'll move that out. It just makes referencing them easier in Weebly, so I'm just going to do that. I don't need header images right now, so I'm going to select those items and compress them and just call it theme 1. And I'm going to go to now to my Weebly Cloud admin. I'm going to create a site, iCare, and I'm going to call this icarenm.yournew.design. So I've already, because this is just a temp site, the live site obviously is on Business Catalyst still. I need a way to be able to access this site. So I've set up a domain that I have called yournew.design. I've pointed it to the Weebly IP address, and so I can use that for testing and creating temporary sites. So when you first make a new Weebly site, the first thing it makes you choose a theme. I'm going to just pick the first theme that I see because I just want to get past that screen. And once I get past that screen, I'm going to go to theme, change theme, and I'm actually going to import the theme that I just created. So I'm going to go to select theme, and there's theme 1 that I just made. And it's going to take it a minute to upload. And it tells you here the style sheet should be called main.css, main_style.css. I'm going to preview it, and it looks pretty good. And I realize one thing I forgot to do is open up my style sheet. So let's open up our style sheet. I don't need these overrides. These were during testing. What I need to do is change some of these paths as well. So fonts is just going to be fonts slash because main CSS is in the root. And I'm going to change images to just be images slash. So I'm going to replace all here, and I thought I did fonts. I guess not. Just do that for fonts. Okay, so now I can zip up the file again, or I can just copy the CSS, go to theme, and I can actually edit the HTML CSS here. This is sort of like the develop mode that we had in BC, but it actually gives you a live preview. And look at that, we got it working. Okay, so we're 15 minutes in. We have our website in Weebly Cloud. Obviously, I need to create the other pages, but let's finish this up. So on the home page, I actually have some content. So let's go to the home page. And so we have a paragraph and a heading. So I'm going to go to the build tab. I'm going to drag a title tag, and it says we care about your eyes, and drag in a text element and put in that text. And let's finish our footer as well. So I'm going to copy this text that we had, put that here, make it 2018 since I have a brand new site. Here's my social media icon. So if I click on that, these are all the different icons I can insert onto the page. But in this case, the client actually doesn't even have any social media icons or properties. So I'm going to go to theme options, and I'm going to turn off social icons. If they ever decided they wanted, I can turn that back on. Here's my navigation at the bottom and also at the top. And this reflects the pages that I have here in Weebly Cloud. So obviously I don't need a shop page about or updates, but I do need a contact page. So let's go to contact. And each page has a header type, which is basically like a page type or a page template. So I'm going to choose the contact template here. And here's where I set up the header area where I can drag and drop an element. So I'm going to edit the background. I can get an image and I can replace that. So I'm going to go here and go to my header images and pick a header image. So now I have a header image there. So I'm going to hit save. There's lots of options here. You can edit images. You can do all kinds of good stuff here in Weebly, but that's for another day. So this is where I can put in my page name. So remember we had module page name. So I'm going to put contact us. I'm going to go to build, and I'm going to drag a contact form. Let's take a quick look at their contact page. So we had two forms side by side. We have one form, and here's another form. I'm going to drag both next to each other. Here you can say contact us, and on this one you can say make an appointment. Obviously we can adjust the styling and things, but you can also drag this bar and resize these. You can click on this text and make this a little smaller. If you don't even want a heading, you can remove it. You have lots of options. Let's remove that for now. Okay, and then on the contact us, I have my sidebar. So remember we made that into a sidebar. So what I want is a map, so I'm going to drag the map. This blue line here tells me where that element is going to drop in. So that's the map, and then under it I have some text. So I'm going to drag the text element, put it underneath the map. Let me go and copy this text. Now when I copy and paste it, it's not going to have the exact formatting that it had over there. And I can, highlight this, make it bigger, change the font color. I won't do that right now, but you'll see that you can do that. I'll also copy this address. So when I click on an element, it brings me the element settings. I can actually put in the address that I want, and it does a map to that address without me having to go get a Google Map key or any of that nonsense. So I noticed a mistake I made on the contact and the inside template where we actually have two sets of logos, and I didn't notice that earlier, but you guys probably did. So I'm going to actually fix that before we're done here. So I'm going to go to Edit CSS. I'm going to go to my contact, and here I see that I have two H1 templates or two H1 tags for some reason. So when I was doing a find and replace, I made a mistake and duplicated that. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to also do the same fix on main template, and then here's my index template. So that should fix that problem. Yep, there it is. And so when I publish this site, you can click on it and see a preview. And so we have our navigation, we have our homepage, we have our homepage content, we have our footer text, we have our navigation in the footer. Let's go to our contact page. We also have our contact page. We have our two forms, which we can configure to go to whatever email we want and add whatever fields we want. We have our form, our map, and we have the content on the right. So we have two pages set up. Did that in about 20 minutes. Obviously, we can spend a little more time, go through and create the other pages on the site, do any final cleanup, but in a very short period of time, we're able to move a BC site over to Weebly Cloud. So here are those links that we talked about earlier, the Weebly theme documentation, which I definitely recommend you check out. The Weebly Cloud special offer for BC partners with the steep discounts gives you more information about the Weebly Cloud platform, features, and pricing, and also the BC versus Weebly Cloud feature comparison chart that I put together. So those should be helpful. But if you have any other questions, concerns, comments, feedback, I'm open to all of it. So please feel free to reach out. If you need help migrating, you can also visit our website and schedule a free consultation. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and we'll talk to you later.